Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about drug development and clinical trials. So I will give you a brief idea about how the clinical trials actually performed and how it works actually, what are their stages. So there are several types of clinical trials. I just try to explain through the schematic. You can see the first type one is the treatment trials. So treatment trials is aim of this trial is to look a new way of treatment, a new drug, a new way of a surgery, or a new way of therapy to prevent a disease. So disease is already happened. The second types of clinical trial is like a prevention trial. So prevention trials is to prevent a disease, like if disease is not happen and we are trying to develop some kind of treatment that will eventually prevent a disease to happen. And third one type of clinical trial is a diagnostic trial. So diagnostic trials, aim is to find a better way of diagnosis, more accuracy, less time consuming, less, uh, uh, fees or charges. So these kind of things that company take care about that, and they look for the new diagnostic trials. Screening trials is also like to get a better detection method for screening any disease in a short um, population or in a big population. And also the fifth type of clinical trial is the quality of life trials, to look a way to improve the quality of life in patients. It's not like finding a new drug or like to prevent any disease, but how you can improve life of a patient as a better quality. So quality wise, so these are the different types of clinical trials. So before moving to the clinical trials, I would like to explain you, like, before the clinical trials what happened. So a solid preclinical studies is needed, uh, you know before moving to the real clinical trials. So preclinical studies is very important. So preclinical studies involve basically in vitro studies, that is mainly performed in test tubes or in cell culture system, and this is called in vitro studies. And after the in vitro studies, these preclinical studies also performed in animal models, and these animal models actually, investigational drugs were given and tested for their efficacy, toxicity, and the pharmacokinetics, and look whether if it is worth going for the real testing in human or not. So a solid preclinical data is needed, before moving to the real clinical trial. So first, I would like to tell you about the phase zero trial. So phase zero trials is like a very new and not very old. I can say it's like FDA started the guidelines and designated phase two in 2006. And this is an exploratory trials, and this is aim of this trial is to basically speed up the development of any promising drug. And distinctive feature, I can say, it is given in a subtherapeutic dose of the investigational drug, and a small number of subjects, 10 to 15, and to get like mainly the preliminary data about pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. So pharmacokinetics is like how the body processes the drug, how it absorbs, it distributes, it metabolizes and excrete. So it's the ADME, in short form we call it, like pharmacokinetics, how the body processes the drug. And pharmacodynamic data, like how the drug works in the body. So these are the some preliminary features of the phase zero trials. But when you look the real clinical trial phases, it's categorized into four phases. So the first phase, like, we need a solid preclinical studies and data for moving to phase one trial. And phase one trial is mainly focused on the safety and tolerability, so that if drug is safe for the human use or not. So that is the main aim of the phase one clinical trials. And study number is like very less, is 15 to 50, and duration is like within 3 months to 1 year. While the phase 2 trials is focus mainly on the effectiveness. So how we are testing the efficacy of a drug, if it is really effective or not, is uh, you know working as it should work, actually treating a disease or not, if it is developed to treat a disease. So we look for that, the efficacy, and it's used in a little you know higher number of patients, and durations is around 1 to 2 years. And the phase 3 trials is basically more complex, needs a large number of patients, and it is also a look for the efficacy of the drugs in a large number of patients, and it's a long time duration to conduct phase 3 trials. And after the phase 3 trials, drug actually getting approved by the US FDA, and whatever the other approval agency for approving these drugs in different countries. So after the approval of the drug, the drug still moves further for the long-term risk and benefits, to look that if there is any risk of this drug or not. So in that way, like phase 2 trials is keep going, even after getting approval from the federal agency. So this is a nice schematic. I would like to show you that what are the phases of clinical trials, and what are the basic differences among them. Thank you very much for watching.